Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Hasbro Ultimate Spider-Man Web Warriors Marvel's Rhino. Yes, Spot did already look at Rhino, but that was Rhino from Spider-Man vs. the Sinister Six. This one's completely different. Design-wise, he's about the same though, although they've kind of trimmed back a lot of the spikes on his shoulder pads. He looks a little bit more like Rhino. Still not crazy on the design though. He's recommended for ages 4 and up. This is our continued look at the Ultimate Spider-Man Web Warriors figures, which are now currently in stores. Back of the package. Able to charge into battle at almost 100 miles per hour, Marvel's Rhino demolishes whatever or whoever gets in his way, which I think is a very similar read-up to the one that we've already had a look at. To look at more, check out www.hasbro.com/Spider-Man Bingo Bango. That's packaging aside, just like that. Just like that. Spot's going to take a break, though, get this guy completely out of his packaging, and when we come back, we're getting a better look at the Ultimate Spider-Man Web Warriors Marvel's Rhino. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Alright, so we've got the Rhino out of packaging. I can say he's a much bigger looking, more imposing Rhino than the Rhino that we already had a look at. Let's get the, I was going to say elephant, but let's get the Rhino out of the room right away. There is Rhino from this one right here was the Rhino from Sinister Six, the Ultimate Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six line. We actually just did a review of him. Go check that out after this one if you'd like. But this one is clearly a lot bigger than this one. Mileage may vary as to which one you think is a cooler looking figure. Certainly from a size standpoint, I think this one just is a better presented looking figure. It's a little bit more bland. This one had a lot more coloring to him, especially with the dark. He also had a lot more in the way of spikes. This Rhino has been more limited back to his primary spike, that being the horn, I should say, on the top of his head. Faces are roughly about the same. The ears are roughly about the same. Like body-wise, it's roughly the same. Again, just swapping out little components of his armor and stuff like that. A lot smaller as well. However, though, where this one does have a plus over this particular Rhino, this one had a lot more posability. He did have a bend in the elbows. You could also, maybe not to that noise, but you could also rotate the forearms. This Rhino is relegated to this. You can do this, all right? Okay, yeah, you can do it on this side as well. And you can do this. That's all you can do. You can't rotate his head. He has no bend in the elbows. He has no bend at the knees. So he's a little bit more the brick, whereas at least this guy could actually have bend. He could actually play the drums. This one could play the drums, but he would just basically be smashing his arms on the drums. So this one does have some pros, although I do have to admit, this one's a better looking Rhino. Does he also stack up to some of the Spider-Man? Well, let's bring in some of the Spider-Man right now. There is Miles Morales, the Ultimate Spider-Man. And there's also the Iron Spider. Wow, it seems like you were all prepared for this review. I really was. And there's the Spider-Man 2099. I was going to say 2016. 2099 Spider-Man. Rhino is still a little on the small side, but at least it could be said that he's taller, you know, than the figures here. Could have been taller, yes, but at least he's a little bit taller than these Spider-Man here. It's certainly a far cry. Let's bring him in again just to make fun of him. There's the original, well, the Sinister Six Rhino. So he's a little bit on the small side. Okay, so let's move these guys all the way off screen. I don't know why I had to say okay. All right, okay, you got that? All right, let's look at some additional components to Rhino. How about his face? His face isn't terrible. This is a more hybrid Rhino human person. I kind of like more Rhino in a suit personally, but he's got, again, his very large Rhino horn, which feels durable enough. I thought initially it would be more rubber. His ears, however, are more rubber. Some little small details that you probably might not be able to see too well on camera here, but I love these little Rhino, like little skin texturing that they put on his shoulders And around the arms, his legs, just little additional extra umphs, little extra little umphs. But yeah, he is a little on the limited side. I don't think that these particular lines, the the Ultimate Spider-Man figure lines, I don't think they'll rival the spectacular Spider-Man figures that we got so many years ago. In fact, actually, those were the videos that I started with on this channel. What was it? When did I start? Was it 2009? Long time ago. Very, very long time ago. But those were like the figures that got me on starting videos here on YouTube. And then look where we are now. Many years later, many logos later. Spot's still here. Many years later, though. Now we're kind of revisiting Spider-Man. But to be honest, I don't think these lines are as good as the Spectacular Spider-Man. Those were superposable figures, and they all looked very, very much like their cartoon counterparts. These don't look terrible, but one would see that Hasbro has really limited the amount of posability on these. These clearly more geared towards kids, but I guess really the Spectacular Spider-Man figures were also geared towards kids as well, but you just had a lot of adult collectors picking them up as well, like this guy right here. He's not terrible, but I think at least size-wise he's a lot bigger and bulkier than his Sinister Six counterpart, so I think if you had the choice, I would pick up this one, but yeah, he's just a little bit more limited on posability. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the Hasbro Ultimate Spider-Man. This was the Web Warriors. This was Marvel's Rhino. I had to make sure I put in Marvel's Rhino. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's got more videos heading your way. That's true. That's 100% true. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Brrr.